VA now says it will lay off more than 80,000 workers in a major agency-wide reorganization that is set for August. Joining us now, founder and CEO of Independent Veterans of America and host of the Independent Americans podcast, Paul Rieckhoff. I want to talk about NATO, but let's talk about veterans first. This is a president who campaigned on protecting, cherishing, valuing veterans. There's been no such consideration given to veterans within the federal government.
That's exactly right. They're saying one thing and doing another. And you ask me how I'm doing, I'm pissed off. And veterans around this country are pissed off, and Americans around this country are pissed off, because it's like every day we're getting another body blow to the soul of America. And here we have not even a public announcement, but a leaked memo that the new VA secretary, who's a pretty radical guy, is now going to lay off 83,000 people at the VA. 25% of them are veterans. Meanwhile, as you cut into the federal government, 1/3 of all of those cuts are veterans. We got the unemployment rate down in the beginning of the year to just over 4%, historic low. We've been fighting for 20 years to get the veterans' unemployment rate down. This is going to blow it up. And that's the actual effect of what they are doing will have. No matter what they say, watch what they're doing. And right now, the flamethrower that is Doge and Elon Musk is coming straight for the VA.
Is there blowback? Obviously, there's blowback from veterans who've been fired. What about families of veterans, people who voted for Donald Trump in veterans communities? What have you been seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing it come from all sides. And where I've really been seeing it come from is inside the VA for the last couple of months. They're demoralized. They feel beaten down. There's no clarity. There's no certainty. Everybody's waiting for the Doge guillotine to drop and get an email in the middle of the night to find out that they're fired. These are people who are disabled veterans. These are people who've honorably served their country and want to continue to serve their country. But they're also fighters. And I've said this before, I think they're making a bit of a miscalculation because veterans are fighting back. There are going to be protests starting as early as next week. We're recruiting independent veterans who've been laid off and fired to run for office this year. We've gotten over 200 of them already that are interested. And we're going to organize like we always do. We're going to fight back for what is sacred. And I think we're going to be a lead element for this entire country, not just for veterans, but for teachers and everybody else who needs fighters right now.
This is Donald Trump signing those executive orders we were talking about at the top of the show. One is revoking security clearance for Perkins Coie, and the other one was exempting everybody who's following, or all the goods following the USMCA contract from the tariffs. So a reversal here from Donald Trump on tariffs. Let me ask you about NATO. This idea that we wouldn't immediately come to the defense of a NATO country unless Donald Trump decided they were paying their fair share. The big NATO allies all are paying over 2%. Donald Trump wants to raise it to 5%. By the way, we're not paying 5%. Who would get left out in that?
I think we're going to get left out. I mean, it's shakedown politics, which is the same thing he's been trying to do with Ukraine. And I think we continue to drive a knife into the back of Ukraine to undercut not just Ukraine, but also NATO and our own national security. And it continues to isolate us. It continues to create fear and animosity around the country. He's making enemies for America every single day around the world with these kinds of actions. Our allies can't trust us. And I want to come back to the center on this. We are less safe. When we don't have NATO trusting us and sharing intelligence, it's just a very basic thing. We are more vulnerable here at home. And that's just a couple weeks after he took out the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He's executing a purge. It's all in concert. And the net result is we are all less safe.
Firing CIA employees, firing workers at the CDC, then trying to hire them back, firing the Nuclear Watch Group, and then trying to hire them back, firing the group that was monitoring bird flu, and then hiring them back. It has been chaotic. Paul Rieckhoff, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sorry that you're pissed off. I'd like to see you come in happy.
I don't think I'm the only one.